Namaste, Vicky. Amisha, a very good morning to you all. Myself, Dr. Ravi Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Health Sciences at Faculty of Clinical Science, JV'n University. In the last two lectures, we have discussed about the epilepsy and seizures in introduction, about the focal seizures. Today, we are going to start with the generalized seizures. This will be covered in two sessions. So, this is generalized seizures part 1, which will cover half of the generalized seizures and half will be discussed in the next chapter. So, let's start with the generalized seizures. As we have discussed in the previous lectures, that generalized seizures affect both the cerebral hemispheres and in general, whereas the focal seizures affect only a single cerebral hemisphere, only one part or multiple parts affecting only the single cerebral hemisphere. In the generalized, both the cerebral hemispheres are involved. So, the focal seizures spread to involve both the cerebral hemispheres. When the focal seizures spreads and involves both the cerebral hemispheres, that produces a generalized seizure, usually of the tonic-clonic variety. So, this is called as generalized seizure. Okay, the definition. The focal seizures that spreads to involve both the cerebral hemispheres and produces a generalized seizures that is usually a tonic-clonic variety. There can be different types of generalized seizures. It can be atypical absent seizures or typical absent seizures. This classification we have already discussed. Since this is we are discussing about the generalized, so each we will be going to discuss each seizures again in the detail. So typical, it can be typical or atypical absent seizures. So in the absent seizures we have discussed about two types, typical and atypical. So this is that particular seizure. Then we have generalized tonic-clonic seizures. Then we have tonic only, and atonic seizures, and we also have metatonic seizures. This we have already discussed. So now we discuss one by one the absent seizures. Absent seizures are of two types, typical and atypical. So first of all, let's discuss about the typical absent seizures. Absent seizures means the seizures are absent, but the other features are present. Let's start. It is characterized by 7 or 3 lapses of consciousness. So there is lapse of consciousness. There is no involuntary twitching or something like that. But there is loss of consciousness without loss of posture of control. So there is no loss of posture of control. But there is loss of consciousness, brief lapse of consciousness for some time. The seizures typically last only for seconds. The consciousness returns as the patient is lost. So the unconscious, the consciousness loss remains only for a few seconds. There is no post-ictal confusion. So after the attack goes, there is no confusion at all. The seizures are accompanied by subtle bilateral movement, a sign of rapid blinking of the eyelids. So there it is accompanied by some very small, very few bilateral motor signs. The sign can include rapid blinking of the eyelids, rapid blinking, the chilling movement of the mouth, or the small amplitude, chronic movement of the eyelids. So it can be blinking of the eyes, the chilling movement, the small amplitude, chronic movements of the hands. There can be clinical signs of the seizures, which are subtle, very small, very few, like daydreaming and a decline of the school performance. Patient becomes a daydreamer and is decline in the school performance. These are some of the symptoms of absent seizures, like lip smacking, involuntary use. The EEG changes shows a generalized, symmetric 3 Hz spike wave on discharge that begins and ends suddenly, that is superimposed on the round EEG pattern. So during the active phase, there is 3 Hz spike like wave, another time there is round EEG wave. The absent seizures involves a sudden lapse in consciousness and staring blankly into the space. The episode lasts for the EEG changes, the electrical changes of the EEG of typical absent seizures demonstrate generalized spike-like wave complexes. You can see the spike-like wave complexes that greater than 2.5 Hz, usually between 3 to 4.5 Hz and lasting for 100 to 3 seconds. The 3-second spike-like wave discharge in absence of seizures, now active background suggest typical absent seizures. Now we start with the second one, atypical absent seizures. So in the atypical, this is not having a typical background of the absent seizures. So the features deviate both clinically and electrophysiologically from typical absent seizures. Therefore, it is called as atypical. Why it is called atypical absence seizures? Because the features deviate from both clinically and electrophysiologically from the typical absence seizures. The lapse of consciousness is usually of longer duration. Previously, it was of very short duration in typical absence seizures, but in atypical absence seizures, the lapse of consciousness is usually of long duration and less abrupt into onset and cessation. There is less abrupt with onset and cessation. In the typical type, it was acute onset, sudden onset, but this is less abrupt. The EEG shows generalized low spike wave pattern, frequency less than 2.5. So there is generalized low spike wave is found in the EEG. In the atypical absence seizures, these are usually associated with diffuse and multifocal structural abnormalities of the brain. There are multiple structural abnormalities of the brain, therefore it is called as a generalized seizure. They accompany other signs of neurological dysfunction. The other signs of neurological dysfunction are present, such as retardation. Seizures are less responsive to anticonvulsant as compared to the typical absence seizures. So the response to anticonvulsant is usually. The third category is generalized tonic-clonic seizures. In the generalized tonic-clonic seizures, we will also be discussing the features of the tonic only. So this will cover three topics at all: generalized tonic-clonic, tonic only, and tonic only. So, in the generalized tonic-clonic seizures, the most common seizure in around 10% of all the patients with epilepsy. It results from metabolic derangement, therefore frequently encountered. So, there are metabolic derangement and frequently encountered. The seizure usually begins abruptly without warning. So, the seizures arise abruptly and there is no warning. The program is distinct from the stereotype or as associated with focal seizures, then generalized. So, the program is distinct from the stereotypic auras, and these are associated with focal seizures that generalize. Now, first of all, tonic phase. It is the combination of tonic and clonic, but tonic only will have these symptoms, and the clonic only will have the next symptoms that we will discuss. And combinedly, the tonic-clonic phase. The initial phase of the seizures is usually tonic contraction of the muscles throughout the body. So there is a tonic contraction. Look at the picture. We have first tonic phase, then we have tonic phase, and post-ictal confusion. So in the tonic phase, there is incontinence, ictal cry, that is most important. There is cyanosis and generalized stiffness of the body and limbs, back, and arm. In the chronic phase, there is salivary frothing and cyanosis, eyes blinking, and chronic jerking. And in the post-ictal confusion, there are limbs and body limbs. So the tonic contraction of the muscles of expiratory and larynx produces a loud moan. That is loud moan. That's ictal cry. This is very important in the case of chronic phase. So always write ictal cry in the case of chronic phase. The respiration is impaired and the secretions in the oropharynx. That's, after the chronic phase, the respiration is impaired and the secretions they usually do in the oropharynx and the cyanosis develops. The contraction of the jaw muscles causes biting of the tongue. So there is contraction of the jaw muscles which causes biting of the tongue. There is marked enhancement of the sympathetic tone that leads to the increased heart rate. There is enhancement of sympathetic tone that causes increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, and capillary size. The tonic phase lasts for between 10 to 20 seconds. So there is jaw muscle contraction and biting of the tongue. In the chronic phase, the seizures involve into chronic phase. So the tonic turns to chronic phase. It is produced by superimposition of the periods of muscle relaxation on the tonic muscle contraction. So, after the tonic muscle contraction, there is muscle relaxation that takes place. The period of relaxation progressively increases until the end of the phase. So, the period of increases until the end of the phase and lasts for usually 1 minute. The post-ictal phase, the third phase, is characterized by unresponsiveness, muscle flaccidity. The muscles become totally flaccid, and excessive salivation that causes stridorous breathing and partial airway obstruction. The bladder and bowel incontinence occur during this phase. So there is incontinence bowel and bladder. The chronic phase also contains the patient gradually regains consciousness in the next hours. The next hours, the patient usually regains consciousness. There is typically a period of post-ictal confusion. The patient subsequently complains of headache. There is headache, fatigue, and muscle ache that can last for many hours. So there is headache, fatigue, and muscle ache that can last for many hours. The Duration of impaired consciousness in post-active phase can actually be long. It can last for many years. And the EEG changes during the tonic-clonic phase. The EEG during the tonic-clonic phase of the seizures show progressive increase in generalized low voltage, fast activity followed by generalized high activity polyspike discharges. So there are polyspike discharges. First of all, low voltage fast activity followed by generalized high activity polyspike discharges. In the chronic phase, the high amplitude activity is typically interrupted. Slow waves create a spike wave pattern. The post-active EEG shows a diffuse slowing of gradually recovers as the patient recovers. So these are the EEG changes that are commonly seen in the chronic phase. In the next topic, we will be discussing about the remaining classification, and that will be called as generalized seizures. This session was powered by digital version 2.0 JAYOTI VIDYAPEETH. I hope you are satisfied with the digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. So this was all.